Let me share my screen really fast. My name is Benjamin Luckett. I am an admission counselor from Millsaps College. I personally did not go to Millsaps College during my undergraduate career. I went to a larger state university with about 15,000 people, and now working at a small private liberal arts college with about 800 to 900 students in total. I like to think I've gotten some sort of an unbiased look at the college process, or at least I try to come at it with more of an unbiased process. So feel free when you have any questions or anything like that, just type them in there. I'll try to be as honest as possible and be as informative as possible, sorry, about Millsaps and just about the college process as well. So jumping into everything, hold on, there we go. Jumping into everything, what is Millsaps College? So we were established back in 1890. We're a small private liberal arts college. We are also Methodist affiliated, meaning that you don't have to take any courses related to theology or to the Methodist faith. However, we do have a Christian center on campus as well as those resources available for those who wish to pursue theology or the Methodist faith as well. We are located in Jackson, Mississippi, which is the capital city of this great state. And we're the only college in the state of Mississippi to be ranked among the colleges that changed lives category, which we are very happy to be part of, and we've been part of since the very beginning as well. And sort of what I like to think brings us into that category is through just how our whole college is set up, through our academics, through our faculty, through the student life experience, through the athletics, and you get to see some of that in the fruits of our labors as well, that kind of back up why we have everything that we have. So jumping into sort of the process of everything that we have is our academics. Like I said, we're a very small school, and because we're a small school, we get to have small classroom sizes of about 10 students on average. That gives you that very personalized experience and personalized education that you wouldn't get to have at possibly a larger state school like I went to. You get to really know your teachers, the teachers get to know you as well. And not only that, 95% of your teachers are professors that have a PhD program or the highest degree possible in their field. In none of your courses are you going to be taking a class that's being taught by a teaching assistant or a grad student, which I'll get to in just a second. And every single teacher that we have as well has an open door policy, meaning you can go to them at any time, email them at any time as well. And sometimes professors even give out their cell phone numbers to students as well, in case they have a question after hours, or perhaps they just need help on a homework assignment. Now, kind of branching into teaching assistants and why we don't have those. A teaching assistant or a grad student is essentially someone who is chasing a master's degree or a PhD program, and the university is paying them to teach you. That's great for the university, and that's great for the teaching assistant. But sometimes that might not be good for you, because in some cases you may have a teaching assistant who does not care about the course they're teaching, who doesn't care about you, or who doesn't know how to teach as well. Here, we've done away with that, and we've said, you're going to get professors who not only know what they're talking about and care what they are talking about, but also care about you. We have professors who don't care about just getting a paycheck, but rather care about you as the individual as well. And so looking into the sort of areas of study that we have about 32 majors and 47 minors, 4 pre-professional programs, 5 pathway programs, and 2 master's programs as well. Essentially, what I always like to say about our majors and minors and just areas of study in general is that if you want to go into something, we're going to try and give it to you as best as we can. What's one of the great things about being a personalized campus is the fact that we have the ability to change things around and give them to you, or give you some sort of focus in something that we might not have. For example, I was speaking with one of our alumni down in New Orleans, Louisiana, and she was telling me about how she wanted to go into nutrition as a major. We don't have nutrition, we have biology. But because our teachers knew that this is what she wanted to go into, as well as chasing other studies in nutrition, they shaped her curriculum around a nutrition emphasis, as well as getting her an internship over at a nutritional clinic where she worked at afterwards. Personally, from my own experience when I was in school, if it wasn't part of the bill, you weren't going to get it. And I certainly did not have teachers who wanted to go out of their way to give me an internship. Um, and just to kind of dive a little bit deeper into the two master's programs, since there are two, I can just talk about them really quickly. We have one in master's in business of administration and one of master's in accountancy. About 50% of our students on campus are business majors, minors, or in the department in some way, shape, or form. And what's really cool about our MBA program is that you can get an MBA within 5 years of starting school at Millsaps. It's essentially called a 4+1 program. You start at Millsaps your freshman year, and on your 5th year at Millsaps, you have an MBA. And you could also couple that with any other degree you want. So let's say you want to go into biology, or let's say you want to go into English. You can easily attach that to your master's in business rather than having to graduate, go off into another school, do grad school. You get it all in 5 years here at Millsaps. And something that I like to talk about as well is, being a liberal arts school, we give you skills, or we try to teach you skills that are transferable through all manners of life. So because of that, we have our Compass curriculum, which is essentially our kind of spin on those transferable skills. So through the Compass curriculum, which I'll dive into a little bit, you'll get 4 different outcomes. You will learn the skills of how to think and reason, how to communicate properly, both verbally and non-verbally. You will learn how to be integrative and collaborative in your learning, as well as learning how to problem solve and think outside the box as well. So sort of how we put this in practice is through a lot of our freshman level courses. A lot of times when you go to a college, like when I went to college, you'll take courses such as History 101, English 101, Geology 101, all those sorts of different courses known as general ed courses or prereqs. And essentially, we have said, let's be a bit more innovative with that. So instead of just taking History 101, you're going to be taking a course that combines History 101 and English 101 to talk about Plato and 1984 and George Orwell and how it relates to society. Or perhaps you'll take a course combining science, technology, engineering, and math, otherwise known as STEM, with art, creating a class where you're not only designing projects, but also bringing to life beautiful artwork as well, using lasers, using a metalworking bench, using our carpentry space as well. The world is your oyster, and we try to give it to you as much as possible. And something that I think is very unique to us, and I wish I knew about when I was going to college and started considering Millsaps instead, is our major experience. Essentially, every single student that comes to Millsaps has to do one of these 4 things before they graduate. This is essentially an experience to make sure that you are having some sort of tangible evidence that you not only have a degree, but know what you're talking about and have something to back up your resume. Employers like to see some sort of experience rather than just a degree on your resume. And so to help you along with this, we have 4 different experiences you can go on. You can do a study abroad program, you can do an internship, a research program, or a community engaged learning course. That very last one is the epitome of hands-on learning, where instead of just learning about animals, for example, you're going to go to the zoo and actually research animals. Instead of just learning about poverty in the classroom, you're going to go into the impoverished areas of Jackson and do a project in them. Not only learn from the community, but also learn, hey, is this something that I like? Is this something that I can see myself doing? We have a lot of research opportunities as well, and it's particularly in our science field. A lot of our science professors will turn their old office spaces into labs, allowing students to hook on to whatever research they're doing. And perhaps you're not into science, but because we have these small classroom sizes, you can hook on to your business professor's research or your English professor's project, whatever. Um, Branching over into internships as well, being that we're in the capital city of Jackson, Mississippi, there are tons of businesses surrounding us. Perhaps you want to go into making a coffee business. We have Coffee Pros, which is a coffee shop right across our campus that you can easily do an internship over. Perhaps you want to go into politics. The state capitol building is literally a couple blocks away from our campus. We have connections to lobbying firms, political campaigns, and perhaps you want to go and work over at the hospital or become a doctor. Luckily, we have 5 hospitals surrounding our campus, so good thing. If you were to get hurt, you'd be fine. But that also means we have those internships and pipeline programs to those hospitals to get you into the system. Last but not least, we have our study abroad program. We're not unique in the sense that we have a study abroad program. A lot of colleges do. But I think what's unique about us is the fact that we are 14th in the nation with our study abroad program, as well as allowing you to go to places that might not be on our program list. So let's say, for example, you want to go to Yugoslavia or India or Tibet, and you happen to see that that's not on our program list, you can still go. Simply, you could talk to our professors or you could talk to the study abroad coordinator, and they will say, let's make this work. If this is what you want to do and this is going to help you out in your career, let's make this possible. And to help you out through all of the academics and all of this side of college is through our advising system, our writing center, and the case system. Simply, our advising system is made up of professors who are dedicated to you and helping you out figure out what sort of courses you need to take and just give you life advice as well. Perhaps you're wanting to go into medicine, but you don't know whether or not you need to take a certain biology course or a certain chemistry course instead. And because they're in that field every single day of their lives, or perhaps even went into the medical field, they're going to help you out, figure out what you should do and what you should study. And the Writing Center, what I always like to say about the Writing Center is that, this is not a place where you just come and be a warm body in a seat. You're going to be doing a lot of work. This is a very academically rigorous campus. And to help you out is our Writing Center, which is essentially peer led by other students who have been pedagogically trained to help you write a paper. It's not so much a place you just go to figure out, hey, is my grammar right? Or is the period in the right place? But rather a place where you say, let's say I'm writing a paper on photosynthesis. Can you help me out with the process? And at any stage of the process, beginning, middle, or end, you can go in and they're going to say, yes, let's help you out. And our CASE Center, which is the Center of Academic and Student Excellence, is essentially the same thing. It's peer led by student tutors, from all different subjects. And if you happen to have a problem with, your modern languages homework or your history homework, you can go to these tutors to help you out as well. But when you are not in class, what are you doing? Personally, when I was going to school, I was involved in 5, 6, 7 organizations. Luckily, about 90% of our students on campus live on campus. So there's always something going on here. Perhaps you just want to hang out with your friends. Perhaps you want to go to our film club or to our gaming club or to our SGA organization. We all have that here. And more than likely, they're going to be operating here through the weekdays and on the weekends as well. But to help you out and navigate through all of this, because I understand, college can be overwhelming. It's completely different from high school. It can be tough sometimes. So we want to make sure that you are not only having a good time, but you are mentally well as well, and you're getting prepared for the next step. So to help you out, we have our Career Center, which helps you figure out, hey, what do I want to major in? What sort of job should I do, or what sort of internship I should do as well. They have a lot of assessments to help you figure out what you want to do in your life, as well as just general guidance as well. We have our care system, which is where, let's say, for example, you get to class every single day on time, and you turn in your homework every day on time, and you're doing really well in your grades too. And then one day, you start slipping. You start getting to class late, or you stop turning in your homework, or you just become really drawn into yourself. and not really speaking in class. This is a system that allows our teachers to communicate to one another and say, hey, is this person doing the same thing in your class? Is everything okay? And they will suggest a meeting with our counselors on campus, our counseling center, I should say, just to make sure that you're doing well as well. But also, we have our One Campus, One Community organization too. So perhaps you've looked at your career center, you're okay with the counseling center, cool, and you want to get involved in the community. Well, this is a nice community volunteer organization that not only unites the campus with one another, but also to the community. Hence, One Campus, One Community. So if you enjoy volunteer work, I would definitely suggest you look up One Campus, One Community on our website. But perhaps you want to go into other organizations. Like I mentioned before, there's SGA, there's film, there's an intercultural club, there's a Black Student Union. We have 50 plus organizations, including 12 Greek organizations as well. So really, whatever is your cup of tea, I would definitely suggest going into it. And perhaps you want to join a club that's not on our organizational list. We definitely advise creating that club, and you have the option to do so as well. Just a couple years ago, we had a fencing club that started up about 2 years ago. And so we wouldn't be able to have that if we didn't have the space available to allow that to happen. In terms of athletics, we are a D3 school, which essentially means that your scholarship is not tied to a position on a sports team. So take, for example, you really love softball, and your senior year, you decide, I really need to focus on my grades. And so you're going to drop out of softball. Well, you're not going to lose a scholarship because of dropping out of your athletic sport. You're focusing on your academics, and that's sort of how I like to think of the relationship between our athletics department and our academic department. That you're not only just coming here for softball, you're not just coming here for football, you're not coming here for just biology. You're coming here for the whole package. And so we want to make sure that there's some sort of balance in that aspect. So you never have to really give up your sport or a class for the other. Because of that, and because of that relationship between the athletics department and faculty, we make sure that every day, Monday through Friday, there is a time specifically for our student athletes. So from 4 to 6:30 in the afternoon, student athletes can go and practice their sport, go to their games, what have you, without having to sacrifice their class. And then outside of that, they can go to class at ease, not having to worry about athletics, not having to worry about practice, what have you. Not only that, it's not a place, Millsaps being an athletic college, it's not so much a place where you are just going to class and then outside of class, you're going to have to go and practice or whatever. You can balance your time across many different aspects of our college. So take, for example, a lot of our student ambassadors are student athletes as well. And not only are they student ambassadors, they're in the government, student government association. They're doing internships. They're doing study abroad programs. So you have the ability as a student athlete to still sink your teeth into college all the way. Perhaps you're afraid of, playing football, that you might not be able to study abroad. You still have that ability to do so. It just takes time management. And not only that, about 50% of our students on campus are a student athlete as well. So it's not like you're going to be the only football player or the only softball player in class. You're going to be taking classes with people on the track team, people who are cheerleaders. The people who are cheering you on in the stands are the same people that are taking your chemistry class, the same people taking your business class. We're a really small campus, so you really get to know everyone that is on the sports team and everyone that is in the stands as well. Now, we've talked about academics, we've talked about organizations, we've talked about athletics. Let's talk about the affordability of Millsaps. College is expensive, and being a private school, we are expensive as well. But we try to be as affordable as possible with our approach to the college process. Basically, what I like to say is that if you want to come to Millsaps College, we are going to try our best to make it as affordable as possible for you. Approximately 95% of our students on campus, and not on campus, sorry, 95% of our students in general receive some sort of financial aid from us, whether that be through scholarships, through loans, through grants. Like I said, if you want to come to Millsaps, we're going to try our hardest to get you here. And so the breakdown of that is the average cost after looking at your tuition, room and board, and factoring in your scholarships to help mitigate those two, is around $22,000 per year. To help you get down to that number, we have a merit-based scholarship, which ranges from about $18,000 to $33,000 per year. And that essentially is designated or given to you through your application. Our scholarship process is inseparable to the application. So once you apply, we're not only looking at your admission status, but we're also looking at your scholarship status as well and seeing what sort of scholarship you can get. And the merit-based scholarship is based off of your GPA and your SAT or ACT as well. The higher those scores are, the more money you can get. So perhaps you get a scholarship that helps you get down to $22,000, but you can also apply for more scholarships by doing better in school, doing better on your ACT, to perhaps get a lower number than that $22,000. Not only that, because we're a private school, there is no out-of-state tuition. So the number you see here is for the same person that's in Mississippi, the same person that's in Alaska, Maine, Texas, you name it. Not only that, we have the FAFSA, which opens up October 1st. I always tell people to fill out the FAFSA no matter what, because you never know what sort of loans or grants you might apply for. And that just helps us out and lets us see what else we can give you to. Not only that, we have different specialty scholarships, which range from us as admission counselors recommending students for different scholarships. Let's say, for example, you go above and beyond your coursework, so I'm going to nominate you for this certain academic scholarship. Not only that, we also have departmental scholarships for those who, let's say, you're interested in math, and the math department sees that you're an incoming student. They're going to give you a lump sum of money as well as for those who are interested in the arts. We have an Arts Scholars Day, where you don't need to be a major or a minor of the arts. However, you just need to show some sort of interest or some sort of modicum of saying, hey, I'm good at art, I'm good at theater, and please give me money, basically. You basically try out, and they decide whether or not you should get a scholarship for your art as well. So we've talked about academics, we've talked about athletics, we've talked about a lot of things. What is the value of Millsaps College? And for me, it's the experience. I mean, like I said during the athletics portion, you're not just coming here for sports. You're not just coming here for academics. You're not just coming here for extracurriculars. You're coming here for the whole college feel. And not only that, the college feel goes from the beginning of your freshman year to years after you graduate as well. We have alumni across the state. So essentially, if you want to go back home to wherever you are, let's say Maine or Washington, we probably have alumni there. Perhaps you want to stay in Mississippi. We have alumni chapters here as well. We are connected. We're a very small campus. And so pretty much an alumni that you may have known when you were a freshman probably knows you now as well. Not only that, we have a parent relations committee as well that just makes sure that the parents are aware of everything that's going on in college too when their students are there. But looking more into a different aspect of value is through our successes. Being that we're a small school, it always astounds me to look at just how many scholars that we've had in the past years. We've had 19 Fulbright scholars, 7 Rhodes scholars, 2 Truman scholars, and 1 Goldwater scholar as well. For a college our size, compared to the 15,000 person university that I went to, it almost balances out that we have the same amount of awards, if not maybe more, than the college that I went to. And not only that, some of the major accolades that we have is that 95% of our students who graduate from here get a job or go off into grad school within the first 6 months of graduating from Millsaps. We also have the highest alumni salary rating in the state of Mississippi. We're recognized in the Princeton Review, as well as Forbes saying that we are the #1 college in the state of Mississippi. Not only that, 90% of our students who are wanting to go into law school get in within the first year. And historically speaking, we've had twice the national average of students getting accepted into medical, or I'm sorry, twice the number of students getting accepted into medical school than the national average, or I should say the percentage or rating. In the past few years has been up in the high 90s, but as of 2018, 100% of our students who were going into medical school got in. We don't have all these awards. We don't have all these accolades for no reason. It's because of how our college is built. And I think it's because of our smallness and our intimateness and the rigorous academics, the communication between athletics and academics that we can give you these statistics and this experience as well. So to be part of this experience, you need to apply. You can go to Google. That's how I always do it. I type in Millsaps apply. It's going to be the first link that pulls up. You apply. We are test optional this year, essentially saying, you know, perhaps you weren't able to take the ACT or you don't want to submit your ACT, SAT scores. You can definitely apply still if you want to. We will consider your high school transcript to figure out what sort of scholarship we should give you, as well as your admission status, which we have around, in terms of actual scores to be admitted, around a 3.0 GPA, as well as around a 21 ACT. Now, perhaps you might not have those scores, and that's okay, because we have a holistic approach at looking at your application. So not only is it your academics that we're looking at your activities, we're looking at your college essay, what sort of courses you took as well, to really get a feel of who you are as a student and as a person as well. We have early action until November 15th, which essentially means if you apply now, before November 15th, we're going to let you know of your status before then or as soon as possible, which we also have a rolling admission that goes from now until pretty much the beginning of next school year, fall 2021. I encourage you to apply before then to really get a feel of your admission status here, as well as your scholarship packet, which we also have a refundable deposit until May 1st. Our deposit is about $250. It's part of your tuition as well, but it's refundable, meaning that, let's say, for example, you apply and you get admitted to Millsaps College, but you decide, you know, I want to deposit. I want to make sure that I am enrolled at Millsaps, but for whatever reason you can't go, you can refund that deposit before May 1st, and there will be no worries on our part. But I encourage you as well, after looking at all of this, look into more of our events as well. We've got a virtual college summit happening this week, which looks at the whole entire college process, looking at a college and finding out where your fit is, how to write an application, how to write an essay, college sports as well. Which, if you have any questions about that, I encourage you to put that in the Q&A, and I can possibly send you some information on that. But that is sort of my spiel on Millsaps College. And personally, in my year and a half of being here, I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Coming from this really large university, I felt like I got lost in there. I felt like there was a lack of personal attention. And being here, working here, I can see that in every single faculty member and every single student as well. And I think that's probably the strongest foundation that we have for our success. So, like I said, that's my spiel. So if there are any questions, please type them in the chat. I'm here for you.
Yeah, Ben, do you mind talking a little bit about the different housing options that students are able to choose from?
Sure. Should I stop sharing my screen or should I keep it up?
You can keep it up, that's fine.
Okay. So essentially, we have about, I think it's like 10, 11 dorms on campus. Besides two of our typical freshman dorms, or freshman residence halls, I should say. They're all co-ed. So we have one that is typically a freshman female and typically a freshman male as well. Um, but I say typical because how the dorms work is that as of right now, it's sort of a first come, first serve basis. So you might find, in your typical upperclassmen dorms that some freshmen live there, or in your typical freshman dorms, some upperclassmen live there. So it really depends on when you fill out the housing application and what's available as well. But you're never going to have, from my own experience, being at college, a lot of upperclassmen staying in freshman dorms, being that, as an upperclassman, you want to hang out with other upperclassmen, and you want the freshmen to kind of do their own little thing. But diving deeper into actual dorms that we have, besides the two, like I said, typical freshman dorms, you have a lot of our dorm residence halls are suite style, meaning that you are sharing a room with someone else, and then there's a bathroom, and there might be two other people on the other side of that bathroom. You have dorms where it's a 2-to-2 sharing a bathroom, or perhaps it's a 1-to-1 sharing a bathroom. And since we are small, and since COVID has happened and the pandemic is going on, we've had the ability to sometimes give people their own room instead of sharing it with another person. So those 2-to-2s turn into 1-to-1s this year, allowing safety as well as a sense of comfort as well.
Great, thank you. What about just speaking on the environment that surrounds a Millsap? Can you talk a little bit about just where it's located and what's special about that environment?
Sure, sure. So Millsaps, like I said in the very beginning, is located in Jackson, Mississippi, which is the capital. So not only are we in the South, there's this sort of Southern hospitality associated with Jackson. I grew up in Mississippi. I've lived in Mississippi my entire life. I'm no stranger to quote unquote Southern hospitality, which is how I like to define it as whenever you're walking across the sidewalk or down the sidewalk, walking anywhere, you have people who smile at you, people who wave at you, who ask you how your day is going and genuinely mean it. People that remember your name, remember your family members, people who genuinely care about you. But not only that, we're located in a metropolitan area. Jackson is not the only city here. We've got about 5 different cities neighboring Jackson, all within about 10 minutes of each other. So you've got a lot of different businesses, you've got a lot of different organizations, a lot of things happening. So not only is it this sort of, hey, we want to make sure you're doing all right, but you also have people who are focused on their career, people who are focused on their business, people who are goal driven, people who not only care about your well-being, but also care about what's the next step that you're going to take in life. In terms of scenery, I don't know if you were asking in terms of society or culture or environment, but in terms of scenery, Millsaps College is very green, in my opinion. Looking at this Prezi, you're going to see a lot of green, a lot of trees, and that's pretty much how it is across the campus. It's this nice little haven of greenery, I should say, in amongst a city of sprawling skyscrapers. You get your little patch of nature amongst business. Did that answer your question, or did I just?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes. What would you say is the most kind of favorite or special part about Millsaps to you? Since you didn't necessarily attend Millsap. So what's your favorite part about Millsap?
I like the squirrels. No, that's a joke. um, so I grew up in a small town of about maybe 25,000 people. Um, and so it was one of those places that if you dropped a pen, your mom would know about it before it hit the floor. Um, and sort of like what I was explaining about, the whole walking down the street, people waving at you aspect, is I really like that. I like people, and I love the people here. I know that may sound cliche to say, but sort of like what I said at the end of my presentation is that, you know, in my year and a half being here, compared to my 4 years at my larger institution, I feel as though the people here really do care about me. And I just work here. I'm not a student. I don't take any classes. I'm one of the admission counselors. I'm holed up in the admissions building. But every time I walk outside and I speak with a professor or I speak with someone in the cafeteria or the post office or even another or a student, the people here care about you. They are alive. They are hospitable. They have such unique personalities. Um, and that's what I love about it is the people.
Yeah, well, that's wonderful to hear. Well, I'll go ahead and at this time, if there aren't any other questions, um, I will actually start to provide some information. So,
I'm
we
going to
will
stop
actually
sharing.
have, oh yes, that would be fine. We'll have, after we close this window, there will be a link to a very quick 4-question survey, and we'd appreciate any feedback that you can provide. Again, just wanted to thank Millsaps College for the information that they have provided. Also, this was just one of the many sessions being hosted, so be sure to sign up for any additional sessions. And in about a week, you'll be able to find the sessions recording as well as any other recordings at the same place that you've been able to sign up. So again, thank you to Millsaps College for being able to provide such insightful information about their institution.
And thank you
Thank
for
you.
having us. I'm really happy to be a part of this and glad to answer your questions as well as present for whoever's watching.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.